The ocean has always been vast, mysterious and powerful. But what if you could control it? Imagine standing at the edge of your boat, raising a legendary staff, and with a single motion, the tides begin to shift. Islands that were once unreachable rise from the depths. Sunken cities reveal their ancient streets, and your enemies, they're left stranded, powerless against the force of the sea itself. In this sequel, Link gains a power unlike anything before, the ability to control the tides. Today we're diving into how Nintendo could make the ultimate Wind Waker sequel, filled with dynamic exploration, intense naval battles, and a breathtaking ocean world that's truly alive. But that's just the beginning. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see how Tide Turner could deliver something we've never seen before in a Zelda game. A living, breathing ocean, where every action you take reshapes the world itself. And an incredibly interesting connotation that stems from this. It's time to take the Zelda series to a whole new level. The ocean in Wind Waker felt massive, but it was essentially just the surface layer. This time, the sea itself is alive. Underwater traversal isn't just swimming. Link gains special diving gear, allowing him to sink, glide, and even use ocean currents like a real-world diver. You'll need to manage oxygen levels, navigate tunnels of bioluminescent coral, and avoid the lurking dangers of the deep. Picture this, you're deep below the surface at the ocean floor, searching a sunken Zora temple, when suddenly the light dims. The ocean turns eerily silent, and then out of the darkness, a megalodon-type creature emerges, its glowing eyes locking onto you. And back at the surface, the tides are no longer just decoration, they're central to gameplay. At high tide, entire islands disappear, forcing you to navigate by memory or wait for the right moment to strike. At low tide, sunken ruins emerge from the depths, letting you explore places previously lost to history. This means every island has two forms, one at high tide, one at low tide, completely changing exploration and puzzle solving. At low tide, you may stumble upon an ancient Zora city, long thought lost, and of course not present in the original Wind Waker adventure. Its glowing halls now exposed to the open air, but as the tide begins to rise, water slowly floods the ruins, turning an open world exploration segment into an intense escape sequence as you rush to find an exit before the entire temple is swallowed again. Maybe there's a dungeon entrance that only opens at the lowest tide, meaning you'll have to plan each step of the adventure around the ocean's movements. This changes everything. You're not just exploring the world, you're studying it, mastering it. But what if Link didn't just respond to the tides? What if he controlled them? That's where his greatest new power comes in. Enter the Tide Turner, an ancient relic gifted by the ocean itself, allowing Link to command the tides and bend them to his will, summon massive waves to crash enemy ships into jagged rocks, or create paths over treacherous waters. Lower the tide to reveal hidden caves and temples, turning the seafloor into an explorable landscape. Part the sea to create a pathway through the ocean, leading to forbidden ruins and lost civilizations. Imagine standing before an impassable sea trench, too deep to sail, too dangerous to swim, but with a simple gesture of the Tide Turner, the ocean parts before you, revealing a long forgotten pathway. But hurry, the tides will not stay still for long. Sailing in Wind Waker 2 is no longer just about getting from A to B. Now the ocean fights back. Giant waves, typhoons, and rogue waterspouts create dynamic challenges, and the creatures that lurk below, they're ready to attack and ambush Link. But what happens when the tides shift in the heat of battle? Let's talk about the combat, because naval warfare has the potential to reach a whole new level. In Wind Waker, naval combat was simple. Fire cannons, sink ships, move on. But in Tide Turner, the ocean itself is your weapon. Battles are no longer fought on calm waters. They unfold in the midst of raging storms, unpredictable tides, and under the shadow of colossal sea creatures. Ever wanted to fight a kraken in the middle of a storm? Now you can. And let's not forget the mystical beings of the sea. Encounters with sirens, mischievous mermaids who trade rare treasures, and ancient sea gods with secrets to tell. But sea monsters aren't the only threat. You'll also face rival pirate factions. And the ocean is more than just the backdrop, it's part of the battle itself. Imagine a pirate fleet chasing Link through a narrow canyon. With a quick use of the Tide Turner, he raises the water level, lifting his ship over the rocks while the pursuing ships crash into the canyon walls. Or picture a battle in the middle of a storm, where wind and rain make aiming cannon fire nearly impossible, forcing you to rely on the tides to pull enemy ships into danger. Ship combat isn't just about firepower anymore. Players must account for shifting currents, rising water levels, and even using sudden whirlpools to outmaneuver enemies. Instead of just firing cannons, boarding mechanics allow for full-on deck-to-deck sword fights, complete with parrying, grappling, and strategic ship ramming. And if Link can take over their ship, well, it's his now. Link can even use Tide Turner abilities to temporarily submerge his ship to evade attacks. Some of the most powerful moves involve water itself. Charging up the Tide Turner allows Link to summon a focused tsunami finisher, overwhelming enemies with sheer force, capsizing enemy ships in an instant. But the dangers of the sea don't stop at pirates and ancient beasts. Something far older lurks beneath the waves. What if Hyrule was never truly lost? What if, buried beneath the waves, its people and history still exist, waiting to be uncovered? And what if Link had the power to step back in time to see it before the flood? As Link explores the ocean, he discovers the Temple of Solace, a forgotten temple hidden deep beneath the waves. Inside, an ancient device pulses with energy, a relic of the gods lost to time. When activated, it does not just part the water, it parts time itself. A shimmering, magical energy wraps around Link, and suddenly the ocean begins to recede. But not because the tide is shifting. The world itself is changing, transporting him from the flooded world back to the Hyrule of old. The ruins around Link rebuild themselves, overgrown villages become bustling cities, and the murky depths transform into the last golden age of Hyrule before the flood. For the first time, players can walk through a fully realised castle town, Goron mines and Zora palaces. No longer just ruins, these places are alive, filled with characters, culture and stories lost to time. The more Link explores, the more he learns about the final days before the flood and the final chapter of Hyrule's history, before its tragic downfall. He witnesses the growing fear among Hyrule's leaders, the Sheikah scrambling for a way to stop the inevitable, and Ganondorf's growing shadow over the land. But most importantly, he learns about the final act of Hyrule's people. Their choice to seal away an ancient power rather than let it fall into the wrong hands. If Link can recover this lost knowledge in the past, he may be able to stop history from repeating itself. But time is unstable. The longer Link remains in the past, the more both timelines begin to collapse. The modern ocean world becomes more dangerous. Tides rise unnaturally fast, storms grow uncontrollable, and entire islands vanish beneath the waves. But Link isn't here just to witness history, he's here to change it. The ocean has been whispering his name, guiding him towards something deeper. He learns that a great secret was buried with Hyrule, one so dangerous that the gods themselves chose to drown an entire civilization to protect it. If the floodwaters were to recede, that secret primal evil would return. And now, someone is trying to raise Hyrule again. Link must uncover who is behind the effort to reverse the flood, and whether their cause is noble or a path to destruction. At the end of Wind Waker, the Master Sword was plunged into Ganondorf's head, turning him to stone beneath the ocean. But the tides have shifted, and then Link makes a horrifying discovery. Both the Master Sword and Ganondorf are nowhere to be found, with only the remains of his transformed stony cape remaining atop the tower of their climactic battle. The Master Sword wasn't just a weapon, it was a seal, a final lock on an ancient evil that was the true intention behind Ganondorf's desires in the Wind Waker. If Ganondorf is coming back, then this is the version of him that I'm most interested in. Design manager on the Wind Waker, Satoru Takizawa, talked a bit about Ganondorf's personality and appearance in the Japanese guidebook. He said, "Ganondorf to me is the embodiment of villainy. I really enjoy the idea of the villain being the antithesis of the protagonist. While the baddie is a persona whose brutality must be overcome by the player, he also has an admirable sort of charm. That's what I was aiming to capture as I designed him." He continued, "The Wind Waker takes place in an era far removed from Ocarina of Time, so the character has lost that air of youthfulness that he had in those days. At the same time, and in contrast to his ambition then, he's also imbued with a certain sense of resignation. He's known for a long time that he can't escape his destiny of pursuing the Triforce, but even so, he hasn't given up on his pursuit of the Hyrule of old. If someone or something has taken the Master Sword, then Ganondorf's return is inevitable, and this time, with this iteration's numerous evolutions and learnings, the floodwaters alone may not be enough to stop him." And speaking of evolution, let's talk about how the world of Tide Turner evolves with every action you take. One of the biggest criticisms of Wind Waker was that the world felt empty. In Tide Turner, the ocean isn't just a setting, it's a thriving, evolving world. Link isn't just a traveller. Following his heroics in the Wind Waker, he's a leader, and with the power of the tides at his fingertips, he can rebuild lost settlements, restore sunken villages, and create a world where people can live once more. The islands in Tide Turner aren't just small outposts or places to refill supplies, they are full-fledged regions, each with unique ecosystems, stories and secrets to uncover. Every major island is a world of its own, packed with things to do. Some are thriving cities with dynamic NPCs, each reacting to the world's events. Others are dangerous, uncharted territories, where underwater ruins from the pre-flood era hold long-lost artifacts. There are massive jungle islands, where ancient temples have been swallowed by the wilderness, and Link must use both tide control and environmental puzzle solving to navigate vertical landscapes. There are snow-covered islands, where shifting icebergs form temporary bridges, and blizzards can change the landscape in real time. Some islands are constantly changing. Volcanic islands erupt and form new land masses, while others sink over time, forcing players to race against nature to uncover their secrets before they disappear forever. Settlements feel alive. In port towns, NPCs react to the state of the ocean, moving to higher ground if storms are coming, or celebrating when the tides bring in bountiful fish. Link can build relationships with individual islanders, and his actions shape their future. Our actions or inactions have consequences. This isn't just a world to explore, it's a world to affect. If Link rebuilds a destroyed village, new homes will appear over time. If he fails to protect an island from pirate raids, its people will be forced to flee, leaving it abandoned. If Link restores an island's fishing industry, trade in the area flourishes. The world reacts to every decision, every battle, and every tide shift. And as the game progresses, the ocean itself begins to change. Whether it's due to Link's actions in the past or the growing imbalance in nature, entire regions begin to rise and fall, revealing new islands and submerging old ones. His home base starts as a simple island outpost, but over time it becomes a full port city. The more he restores, the more merchants arrive, the more trade routes open, and the more powerful his fleet becomes for the epic battles that lie ahead. This isn't just an adventure, it's a world that breathes, evolves, and reacts to every choice you make. This is the Wind Waker sequel we deserve, a game where the tides don't just shape the world, they shape the story, the combat, and the very fabric of time itself. But what do you think? Would you want to command the tides in The Legend of Zelda Tide Turner? And more importantly, who took the Master Sword? If the floodwaters are disappearing, if Hyrule is rising again, then what happens if Ganondorf has woken up? And if the Master Sword is gone, then what is Link supposed to fight him with? Let's set sail and discuss in the comments. And please subscribe, these videos take me ages to make. Thanks, have a good one, and catch you next time.